She will take her royal kids, who can still go by prince and princess, and find the billionaire.
What if I told you that what we've been watching for the last few years isn't a fairy tale escape from the crown, but a textbook slow-motion personality takeover of a man the whole world once adored? In this video, you're going to learn the 10 clearest signs experts point to when they talk about emotional control, image management, and identity erosion in high-profile relationships, and by the end, you'll be able to spot the exact moments Prince Harry's life stopped looking like freedom and started looking like quiet captivity. Because this isn't just gossip. This is a case study in how even a beloved, battle-tested, wildly popular royal can be softened, isolated, and reshaped until he barely resembles the man we first met.
Narcissist who cannot get enough of herself while she simultaneously plays the victim.
Harry just can't give her anything else anymore. He served his purpose. His purpose is over.
So stay locked in. The picture gets clearer with every layer we peel back. Once upon a time, he was the Golden Prince, the kid who made the stiffest royal events fun, the soldier who earned respect, the spare who somehow became the people's favorite. But look at him now. The smile that used to light up crowds looks rehearsed. The spark in his eyes looks guarded. The man who used to joke about royal rules now looks like he's checking the room before he speaks. Something changed. Not loudly. Not overnight. Quietly.
And I think he's slipped from what was the natural person who everyone in Britain loved and saw the smiley.
Subtly. Predictably. And that's why so many psychologists, commentators, even people who've worked around that circle.
The woman who destroyed her in-laws' family, whose own family doesn't like her, whose the in-laws obviously don't like her, the public doesn't like her.
Don't call it romance. Don't call it transformation. They call it classic narcissistic patterning dressed up as modern love. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Here's where it starts. Step 1 is always separation. It never shows up as you can't see your family. It shows up as they don't really get you. They're jealous. They're not rooting for us. They're using you. They never protected you. At first, it looks like healthy boundaries. Then, one by one, the people who've known you your whole life stop being around. Old army friends? Not invited. Long-time royal staff? Replaced. Extended family? Kept at arm's length. Suddenly, the inner circle isn't the people who knew Harry before fame, trauma, and grief. It's people who fit the new brand. Hollywood friends. Power couples they'd barely met. High-status guests who made good photos. To the outside, it looked like independence. A prince breaking free from a cold institution. But real freedom doesn't require cutting off every stabilizing voice. Real freedom expands your world. This version shrank it. That's sign number 1. Social circle compression. It's subtle. It's quiet, and it makes one voice louder than all the rest. Sign number 2, narrative replacement. Before Meghan, Harry spoke like Harry. Messy, human, emotional, sometimes too honest. After Meghan, Harry started sounding produced. Like someone had run his story through a PR filter. The fun little royal confessions turned into long, carefully shaped indictments of the family, of the press, of the institution. Was he always hurt by those things? Of course. But the way the pain was packaged, the way it was released, the timing, the language, the framing of him as the wounded escapee and her as the misunderstood heroine, that's storytelling. That's strategy. That's not accidental. Look at Spare. Look at the interviews. Look at the docuseries. The emotional tone is strangely uniform. The same hits, the same villains, the same positioning. That's not two equal voices telling one story. That's one dominant storyteller and one person co-signing. That's what experts call narrative fusion, when the partner's version of events slowly becomes your memory. And once that happens, you're not just agreeing with them. You start doubting your own recollection. Sign number 3, public dominance through interruption. Go back and watch their appearances. Who speaks first? Who answers for whom? Who corrects? Who redirects? Meghan often sets the tone, speaks to camera, defines the issue, and Harry follows. Sometimes he even glances over before finishing a thought. That is not the same relaxed, rogue prince who once stole every room. That is someone who's been trained, intentionally or not, to self-edit in real time. Psychologists call it dominance by interruption. You don't have to shout. You just consistently take control of the conversation until the other person learns it's easier to let you lead. Over time, that becomes emotional muscle memory. Sign number 4, identity downgrade. In the royal hierarchy, Harry always came after William. That was the deal. But he was never small. He was beloved. He was allowed to be the vibrant, funny, slightly chaotic prince. After marriage, He wasn't just second to his brother, he was visibly second to his wife. Shaking hands after her, letting her speak first, letting her frame his own story. It's an almost perfect psychological flip. He left being the spare to the heir, only to become the spare to his spouse. That's what can happen in narcissistic setups. Your natural shine gets dimmed, so theirs can stay blinding. Sign number 5. Relocation as control. Moving to California was pitched to the world as liberation. We're leaving the people who hurt us. We're escaping the tabloid pressure. We're choosing peace. But look at the effect, not the caption. No palace. No brother. No father. No lifelong staff. No childhood friends dropping in. No institution he understood perfectly. Instead, a totally new ecosystem built around her connections, her industry, her media agenda. That's not random. That's strategic repositioning. You take someone out of the room where they have legacy power and put them in a room where only you have power. From the outside, it's freedom. On the inside, it's dependency. Sign number 6. Emotional exhaustion. You can see it in him. The constant defending. The constant explaining. The constant pushing back at criticism of her. Every new headline becomes his crisis. Every accusation against her becomes a test of his loyalty. That is a classic manipulation loop. Provoke public drama, demand private protection, reward devotion, repeat. The result? He is always tired. When a person spends most of their emotional energy protecting one partner's image, they have nothing left to protect their own identity. Sign number 7. Weaponized vulnerability. Harry has always been open about trauma, about Diana, about the media. That's part of why the world loved him. But when vulnerability is constantly placed in front of cameras, podcasts, memoirs, docuseries, and dressed up as healing, you have to ask, who is this actually serving? Is he getting better, or is his pain being recycled to justify every cut from the royal family? People close to the story have said over and over, it's all about her narrative. That's how narcissistic partners work. They don't just want your love, they want your wounds, because your wounds make their story righteous. Sign number 8. Brand absorption. Before Meghan, Harry was an individual brand. Invictus, military service, cheeky royal, son of Diana. After Meghan, almost every major public-facing move has been Harry and Meghan. Joint interviews, joint statements, joint battles, joint projects. That's not always toxic. Many couples do it. But when one personality is obviously stronger, obviously more media-trained, obviously more comfortable commanding attention, the quieter partner can slowly become an accessory. Even his memoir, His Life, was read by the world through her lens. Sign number 9. Reality inversion. At the beginning, Meghan reportedly claimed she didn't know much about the royals, wasn't fascinated, didn't have that princess dream. Yet people near her past say the interest was always there. Vision boards, aspirations, networking in those circles. That's where it starts to look less like, we just fell in love, and more like, this was always the plan. And if one partner came in with a pre-written script, misunderstood actress marries wounded prince, together they expose the crown, then everything that happens later is bent to fit that script. Even his pain, even his family, even his brother. Sign number 10. Disappearance. The harshest sign, the one nobody wants to admit. The fun-loving, rogue, charismatic, naturally warm Harry is barely visible anymore. What we see instead is a man who looks like he's trying not to get it wrong. A man calibrated. A man edited. That's what long-term narcissistic influence does. It doesn't just silence you. It convinces you that your old voice was dangerous. That the only safe way to exist is to talk like them, move like them, believe like them.